This time on Woody's Garage, we dust off an ugly CT70.
Well, I may be done with the Z50 gas tank. Shit, how'd that come out, huh? Well, a lot better than the rest of the bike. That's for sure. That's a vinyl decal, vinyl sticker, not a decal. Yeah. 2 coats of clear coat, and I think I'm going to leave it that way. It just looks too damn good. You know, why bother? I put on another one and screw it up. So I'm just going to let it dry here. Alright, we got the Z50 in pretty good shape. I like how the tank came out so much that I ordered a new front and rear fender from China. $21 for the set. I have to probably be paper thin, who knows, but they might look better. So this one's kind of all set for the time, so I'm thinking about fixing up a CT70 that I have. I'll show you it in a second, and I'll tell you the story about it. As you see here, I have 2 CT70s. The one in the back, the bluish one, was the first one I got. It had just like one handlebar on it, a couple of tires, and the frame, and that was it. I started buying parts for it. Then what popped up is this red one. Also pretty much stripped down, but the paint job was just so beautiful and the price was right. I decided, well, I'll take the parts off that and put it on this red one. So I continued building this one. The blue one was a strip frame. I actually put it on Craigslist, giving it away for free, and nobody took it. And so about 2 years later, I said, like, well, I'm going to start building that one up. So I have. And it's complete, and it runs, and it actually has a an SL70, I think it's an SL70 engine on it that has a clutch. And I was using it off-road. It was fun. And one day I was doing some work on it, and I decided to torque down the head or something. And I had a Honda 100 at the 125 at the time, and I had just torqued the head on that, and I thought the specs were the same, and I over-tightened the head bolts, and one of them stripped, so it hasn't run quite right since then. So I want to take care of that. I want to paint this thing, and it's going to be a lot of work. Well, here it is, dragged it out of the basement. A moment too soon. It's definitely getting rusty. I had bought that pipe new. Had some water leaked on it. Rusted it up. You can see the shocks I bought do not match color-wise. At one time I tried getting it back down to the original finish by like gasoline and steel wool, and that doesn't look very good. I got this ancient shell here, headlight shell. I remember that came from Arizona. The guy said it had been baking in the desert, and it looks like it. Like I said, it does have a clutch. The engine's probably the first thing I want to address. I'm going to repaint the wheels. But you know, I got like all the parts, so, and like I said, I did ride it. I did use it. It was a blast. But it's always, you know, kind of looked this way. Very ugly. And, you know, I've looked into paints and stuff like that. Real Honda paint is very expensive. Rattle can, etc. So I might go black with it. I don't know. I hate to go black, but they look good black. So, I don't know. I wonder what these notes say. Running, may need new cam chain. Swap carbs with the red CT70. This carb leaks and does not run right. I didn't put anything about the stripped head bolts. Another thing you have to ascertain before you start doing something like this. I mean, a lot of my bikes I buy like this is complete junk, and then I fix them up, you know, as I find parts and stuff. And sometimes another project comes along and it takes the front seat. But I thought about this for a couple of days, and like, what am I going to do as far as buy parts and stuff like that? I'm going to try to bring it up another notch, is what I'm going to try to do. Well, I tried retorquing the head bolts and it seemed to torque up okay, I guess, but it's not warm or anything. I mean, maybe when it's warm they'll just not take. I wanted to see if it had spark, wanted to see if it would kick over. I have no spark. Sometimes, I don't know why this is, but I swear half of them will start without a battery, half of them need a battery. I really don't know why. I got a power supply hitched up to the black wire, which I know goes to the points. I'm just trying to figure out, I can't remember where the coil is in this network, but besides that, I got nothing. So, might run a file over the points. So I forgot some of my old tricks. This wire I had that I was feeding positive 6 volts to actually should just be a jumper. You go black to black and then you don't need a battery at all. I forgot that. And then I got spark, and it will start. And it sputters out. I got these 2 gas lines hitched up to it right now as kind of a temporary gas, because I don't want to put gas in the gas tank because there's no way to shut it off if the carb leaks, whatever. And by pouring gas down in the carb here, I can get it to run for a couple of seconds, but then it quits, and it doesn't seem to be working from these gas lines like at all. So that's the next thing to look at. It's really steaming hot, so I think I'm not going to do anything else today. That's what it'll do. And I just realized something. This isn't the SL70 engine. I must have taken it off. I forgot I had another CT70 engine that I put on because it's automatic. So, these are filled with gas. They don't seem to be working, so maybe the jets are clogged up in the carburetor, so we'll take that off and clean that. I did check the valves, took the covers off, and there was some slack in them, so you know, they weren't overly tight. I didn't adjust them though. I didn't have my feeler gauges out at the time. I came back out, it was really hot, and I went back in, came back outside. So, because you just can't stay away, you know. So I'm going to take off the carb, and we'll give that a clean. Okay, I came inside because of the weather, and we brought the carburetor with us. It doesn't look too dirty inside, a little bunch of crap in there. And now that I realize that this is just a CT70 engine without a clutch, I'm not even sure about what the status of that engine is, because quite honestly, I don't even remember it. It's been like 20 years. So, we're going to clean out this carburetor anyway. We'll take a look at it. Okay, so I took everything out. The only thing I saw that was clogged was the idle jet, which is this little one right here. That's the only thing that I saw plugged. I sprayed through using PB Blaster through all the jets. Why do I do that? I like it so much better than dealing with brake cleaner or carb cleaner or whatever to spray through these things, because it's, you know, you don't feel like you're gonna die spraying this stuff. It's like so terrible, and you can actually see this stuff ooze through the openings. Like there's one right here that you got to shoot some stuff through, and if you shoot it through, I made a little break in the screen there so I could get at it. You hear it come out on the other side. So all these passageways are clear. I'm going to blow them out with air though. And reassemble, I think. So I ran out of PBs and I'm using WD-40, but I made a little bath here. Just shaking stuff around like this, and you can see all the crap that comes off, and then I'm going to blow through the jets with the compressed air Make sure all the passageways are good, and then we'll reassemble. Although actually I have one concern. This guy right here, it's like a nozzle, sticks up through the throat. If you look down inside here, you can see the hole. It sticks up and out of there. I pushed it out with a chopstick, and I'm not sure which way it goes is up. One side is kind of like smoothed over, and the other side is kind of a, I guess, more of a nozzle. Kind of looks like the needle would go down inside of that, but this side looks like it has the wear. So, not quite sure of that. I just learned something else. This hole right here, which is right above the gas filter, the petcock's on this side, this is how the gas gets into the carb. So I never really realized that before. It then goes into this hole here and comes out here. So that's how that works. So you got to make sure those passages are clear. And it just thundered right overhead, and it's getting a little frightening. Okay, I found a picture. I'll try to include it if I can remember. That this way faces the needle up. This way faces down with a nozzle. And if you notice, there's a good nick in it, probably put in there by trying to tap it home with a screwdriver or something like that. You know, that may affect performance, but I don't think it'll affect it from starting. So I was thinking of just smearing a little super glue into that crack. Still might do it. See if it makes any difference. Okay, we're back together. You know, I didn't see anything really dramatic except for that the needle jet with a dent, with a little dent in it, and the idle circuit being blocked up a little bit, but it's clear now. So I'm hoping that yes, it'll work now. And today it purrs a little smoke. It makes a little bit of a noise. See that every once in a while it goes like crank, crank. I think that's a cam chain. I'm going to look up how to do the cam chain adjustment again, because I think I tried it on this one. And the clutch I know also needs an adjustment. But geez, overall, I mean, it sounds pretty good. That was the throttle rattling, by the way. Well, I got a new carburetor. From a company called Wind Cycle on eBay, and it runs good. Really was kind of surprised. You know, you never know with the Chinese carburetors, but seem to do the job. You hear that sound? It changes if I put my hand over the carburetor. Like smoking gas tank. I think the timer's not good. Okay, we're under the deck today because it's about 90 degrees and very, very humid. We're going to take out this bolt on this side so that we can take a look at the cam chain, because it's still kind of bugging me that it's making a noise and we have access to look at it on this side. That's a cover. We're looking at the chain. I'll tell you, feeling around in there, it feels pretty healthy. I don't know if a whole bunch of oil will come out if I start it like this. But I think I'm going to do that. Oh, spark plug is off. going okay, you know? That's enough drool. Okay, this part right here goes between those two right there. Then, like I said, you tighten it up, but be careful. Those things strip out. So the back brake is kind of weird. At the lever, it feels terrific. That's very, very tight. Now, at the foot brake, zoop. You know, I'd like to tighten that up, let it have it be like about like good, but it goes way down to here. I suppose it's not horrible, but I can't figure out how to adjust it. It seems like that little bump right there is what makes a connection into this, which makes the whole unit go forward. See, it hardly even moves. That's how tight the brakes are. But there's no way to, you know, make your brake pedal enact faster. At least as far as I can tell. Maybe the pedal's just worn out, you know, at that point. Or maybe I could put a weld across it. That'd be kind of sketchy, wouldn't it? I also got to get an air filter on it, and I don't want to put like a pod on it. I actually want to put the unit on there. And there's there's a rubber boot that goes over this, and then there's a rubber boot on the back of the muffler can that goes inside the hole there. That one's in okay shape. I don't think I have one for this. So, fortunately, that's another thing I gotta buy. And, you know, I'm wondering what to do with the project. You know, I wanted to get this engine running and see what it was like, and yeah, it's got some power and stuff. It's got that noise, which right now I'm thinking is just the valve rockers. Just making a little bit of chatter there. But, I still do want to paint it and stuff like that, but I don't want to make it look like a polished turd, you know, like make the frame look brand new and all the parts look kind of old. So, a little stuck there on what to do. And the list of parts I need is growing too, which kind of sucks. I just dug those mushrooms out from right next to me under the deck. Man, do they stink. Okay, I got all these miscellaneous parts for to put together an air filter. I actually have two of these cans. This one's a little nicer, and I want to put it on my other better looking 70, so I'm saving some parts for that. But this is the filter. It's kind of weird. The rod goes through this, and this thing sits inside the can. I'll show you that in a second. And then these are the end covers. And it has these rubbers that rot out usually, and these I sprayed some PB Blaster on and let them sit in a paper towel soaked with it, and they got pretty pliable enough that I could use them. You know, usually they go. This points up like this, so it doesn't really matter how bad this one is. It's inside, but this one does matter because it goes over the carburetor. It's the boot to the carb. And then I think I was surprised I found a clamp to go over here. So I got everything, which I'm amazed. I've never put one of these on before. I think I remember trying to put one on once, and it was a real bear. I think you put this on the carburetor before you mount it, and it's actually easier. So I might go that route. I don't know. Let's put this together. So it's kind of like this. You sandwich the bolt through there, and that's the end cap. I think that there's a tube that you're supposed to have as well that goes through the middle, but I think initially they made these in two pieces. I think this is a aftermarket or an updated one, but I'm not absolutely sure on that. So it goes through, anyway, it goes through here, and then it just bolts into the other cap. Beautiful, isn't it? It should work, I think. And I also have this Kickstarter that I found that looks a little bit better. And it's rusty and crappy looking, but the splines look good. And it's one of the ones with a bit of an offset, you know. The other one's completely straight up, so it might be better. Yeah, as predicted, this is a nightmare. Kind of rubber thing can hardly fit in there. This is supposed to bolt on here, and this is supposed to bolt right there, and the rubber fell right off with any kind of, you know, pushing back and forth, and it seems like it would be really difficult to get it where it's supposed to go. I don't know, a bitch. Maybe, you know, if you had fresh rubber and stuff, it might be easier. I'm going to do this one way or another. I'm going to see if there's any tips online to putting this thing in. Okay, I'm also working on the side cover, and I'm making this nub here out of JB Weld because there was nothing there. It's completely broken off. It seems hard as a rock. It's got to be like this one, or like, actually I do have a Honda one. Oh, this is for my other 70. Looks like that. So this is a little big, but I figured I'd cover the real estate so that I could get the hole right. And this is 3 coats of JB Weld. Got to drill a hole. I forgot one tip. It's just like when you're doing this, you like spit on your finger and smooth it all out so you don't have to do half the sanding to make it look good. But so now I got to do the sanding. Well, that's sanded down a bit, but it still has these pits and stuff like that. And I think I got to add a little bit on the back here so that it is flush with the engine. Otherwise, you'll be always pulling on it, you know what I mean? And that'll break it off. So another thin coat, I think. Yeah, putting a little spit on your finger works wonders. I mean, geez, I wish I did that before. It's so much smoother, you know, then you don't get those big nooks and crannies. It makes you have to put on another coat. So spit on your finger or use water or whatever. I think spit works good because it's slimy, especially mine.